Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this wondrous episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review GoBots, issue 4. IDW shows us the covers for their upcoming crossover Transformers and Ghostbusters Ghosts of Cybertron, and IDW gives us a peek at Andrew Griffith's cover for their new upcoming Transformers series. Today is Friday, March 1st, 2019, and this is episode 118 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that can't wait for the DeLorean time-traveling Autobot to show up on the Goldbergs. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how you doing?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, look at that, I'm back. Let's talk Transformers.
All right, well, you were already back in the toy show, right, Daryl? Because we record these things in order, right?
Yes, that's right. I've been back for a week.
All right, well, welcome back, Daryl. We are always glad to have you back. Although we know you're going to shit all over GoBots this week, but that's okay.
Well, at least you know it's coming. That way you can prepare.
All right, well, we'll start off the show like we always do by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. We always appreciate your contributions. We don't have anybody new this week, but we thank all of our continuing contributors. So,
well, and Daryl and I would probably also like to thank the Donatreons for helping us with some recent hardware upgrades.
Yes.
That's true. Thank you.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been possible without some of the help from the podcast funds.
Hopefully this week's trips to the store looks a tiny bit better on the YouTube video.
Yes, because it already happened. We already know how it turned out, right, Charles?
Yeah, so if you haven't checked out the trips to the store video, check it out. It may or may not have been better than last time.
I'm sure it was something.
It was a video.
It is on the internet.
Well, if you're not already supporting the show and you would like to become a Transmissions Donatreon, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And that's how you can sign up. We take either PayPal or Patreon, either one. And we love you guys. Thank you. If you are not interested in supporting us full time, you can also just go to transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And there you can buy merchandise from TeePublic, and anything you get there gives us a little kickback. So, you can get some of our shirts, some of our Transmissions shirts there, but anything you get at TeePublic is also going to give us a little bit of a bonus. So that's a good way to help us out while just buying something for yourself.
I did that last week. I bought some Star Trek or some Star Wars shirts for the Star Wars convention.
Yeah, so
it's well done. I sure would like to have a Transmission shirt for my daughter.
Someday
I had one of those.
It'll be there. It'll be sent to you by the time your next child is.
Everyone's got to have a dream, right, Daryl?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's start off the show and get into some comics news. Well, last week we talked about the Ectotron Transformer and how, in addition to the toy, it's also getting a comic from IDW by the team that works on the Ghostbusters comics. And we did get a little bit more details. So this happened last week, but it was after we had recorded the show, so we didn't get to put it in last week's news items. But we did get, at least we have visual confirmation that Starscream's ghost will appear in the Ghostbusters Transformers crossover comic. So that's pretty cool. We also have a big panoramic image worked on by I think this was Nick Roche doing this image. So he did it. These are covers for all the issues of the series, and each one features different characters.
Almost all the covers.
Oh yeah,
does not have
that's
issue
right.
3.
One has a big black square that says top secret. So something cool is going to be there, I guess.
Yeah, apparently there's going to be 2 characters revealed in issue 3, and that's why I don't see that one.
Cool.
Duke and Scarlet. That's how they start the whole thing off again with the big giant universe.
Well, Hasbro does own Ghostbusters, right? So it's this. Can they be part of the Hasbro universe?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably not.
I think this will be something fun. I hope it's interesting. Although I can see like Ectotron busting ghosts, but I don't know the Ghostbusters. I don't know how helpful they can be in an Autobot Decepticon war. It seems like the Ghostbusters might be a little bit out of their league fighting Decepticons, but I guess we'll see.
We don't know what what a proton pack, what one of those beams can do to a Transformer.
I don't know. I have a feeling they would just like drink it like a Slurpee or something. Like it would just be energy for them. But I don't know.
Maybe go with some other ghosts, some other dead characters.
Maybe, yeah. We've got a few months to speculate, so this will be starting in June. But we're looking forward to it. Next up, we've got a cover. Andrew Griffith teased a cover for the new Transformers comic series. So I believe this is the cover to issue 5, and it's always nice to see Andrew Griffith's art back. So he's got Optimus Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, Starscream, Chromia, all featured in this cover here.
Yeah, as this is noting in this article here, don't forget this is an all new continuity and story.
And yeah, so what interesting thing here is I see Optimus Prime has a Autobot symbol, but everyone else has no symbol. So what does that mean? I guess we'll find out. Next up, from over in Japan, we've got more comic covers for that Matzinger Z Transformers crossover that's coming out in Japan.
I believe it's Mazinger Z.
Z? I'm American.
Z.
Z.
We'll both have to agree that you're wrong.
No.
It's interesting in one of these, they put little rocket thrusters in Optimus's feet. I don't know, is that like calling back to the live action movies or what? But I don't know, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, also I'm wondering why they're like I thought Mazinger Z was a good guy. Why is he fighting? Why is he stepping on Bumblebee and about to punch Optimus Prime while Megatron's like cheering him on?
You have to read the comic, Charles.
Obviously mind control.
Yeah, so it doesn't tell me who did the art on each of these covers, but
second one is what was this? Yuki Oshima.
Okay.
According to this comment by Mikey from Moonbase 2.
Oh, okay.
If you're familiar with his art, then you're familiar with Kissplay.
That's why I'm not familiar with the art.
So thank you, Mikey, for posting that.
Mikey, we have to have a discussion.
Yep.
The first one is by Ken Nimba.
All right. And lastly, we have the May solicitations for IDW Comics. So we won't read the synopses here, but we'll link them in the show notes so you can go check them out if you want. But not surprisingly, there's 2 comics solicited for May, Transformers number 5 and Transformers number 6. So the series continues on.
Are we assuming that by May, these books will be delayed to the point where it will only be getting issues like 4 in May? So
I think they're going to be delayed in March.
Hope not.
Issue 1's pushed back to April.
We have timed out our backlog of comics, so hopefully it's not delayed.
Let's just cross our fingers. It's IDW and Diamond. We it's nothing we can do. It's out of our hands. But hopefully with just one Transformers comic series, maybe IDW or maybe Diamond can manage to not screw up its releases. But we'll see. And that'll do it for comics news. So let's move on to our comic review.
All right. This week we are reviewing GoBots number 4. This is the penultimate issue. The story, art, and letters are by Tom Scioli, and editor is David Hitchcock. There are 3 covers here. The first one has Turbo going through what I assume is the ruins of Earth. The second one has AJ, Turbo, and Psykill. Oh, sorry. Cover A was done by Tom Scioli. This cover B is done by Dash Shaw. And the retailer incentive has Leader 1 and Psykill fighting in what I think is kind of an anime manga style. And this is by Giannis Giannis. Daryl, since you are such the GoBot fan, start with you. Which one of these do you like?
You know, I don't mind GoBots, but these comics are terrible. I really like the RI cover. It's really cool. It looks, like a fun action-packed cover. You say the cover A is the ruins of Earth? There is not a speck of rubble anywhere. It's pristine. So if those are the ruins of Earth, then I'm pretty happy with the way Earth turned out in the future here.
I guess it's kind of I was just looking at the Browns, but yeah, I guess in the back it looks kind of futuristic. So maybe he's just on Gobotron.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
On the surface.
No, it's because his art is shit, and he can't do. He can't draw ruins. Anyway, I like the RI cover. I think it's great.
All right, Charles, how about you?
I also really like the RI cover. I think it's a really nice image. I like the way Leader 1 and Psykill are drawn here. They actually look pretty Transformers-y, I have to say, in that art there.
Cool. Yeah, I have to agree. That's my pick too. And it's just you can just see the action with the way it's drawn. And I think if we got more comics in that style, Daryl would be much happier.
Probably. Yes.
All right. Let's get on to the summary. The 4 human astronauts roam the remains of New York as they confirm that this was indeed Earth. Unsure how things could have gotten so bad, Turbo forces Spacey to reveal the truth. Spacey had been monitoring what was happening on Earth while the astronauts were in cryosleep. Hoping things would get better, he kept the humans in stasis, but it never did. Believing that they're the last of the human race, Turbo shows them that they're not. But humans have devolved into a more prehistoric form over the years. Nearby, Leader 1 spots the renegade ship. Hoping that they haven't been spotted, he continues his quest to find the laser lance. However, in New York, the renegades have scooped up some humans. Turbo convinces Spacey to fight, but he's blasted and unable to stop the renegade from getting back with some humans. The troubles worsen as Zod is dropped onto the city. At the same time, Leader 1 is having another vision. This time he sees the GoBot god Courageous that promises that one day they will all have a communal consciousness. Now, knowing the way to find the lance, he leads the Guardians away from Zod. They run across the body of Spacey, and Turbo threatens Leader 1 to stay away, believing Spacey is dead. But when Scooter spots Leader 1, he runs up and hugs him. There's a history here that Scooter doesn't recall, but Turbo does and has no good feelings towards the Guardian leader. Leader 1 explains that they're looking for the laser lance, and when he draws it in the dirt, Scooter recognizes it and knows where it is. He leads them to a mountain with the shape of a head on its peak. Suddenly, they're grabbed by some creatures that were disguised as rocks. They are golems, the rock lords. After issuing their warning, they allow the GoBots to pass. Inside the top of the mountain, they see a lot of vamp GoBots. Inside one of them is the body of Dr. Braxis, the same one that tried to attack AJ and Scooter when the GoBot revolution began. Turbo remembers that Braxis killed his friend AJ, who had become a freedom fighter, and Leader 1 had ordered Scooter to kill her, which drove him mad. Leader 1 disputes the story, but the vamps attack before he can tell his side. On board the renegade ship, Psykill is playing with the humans, literally. He's trying to make them transform and combine very unsuccessfully. Once they get to Earth, Psykill spots the body of Spacey and assumes he's dead, but the 2 astronauts that were among the group of humans that he had captured escape and seeing Spacey and work their way inside to try to initiate a hard reboot and revive him. Turbo, Scooter, and Leader 1 fight off the vamps when Scooter is tossed by one of them deeper into the cave. He takes his chance to go further and find the lance, and when he does, and also the body of the god that Leader 1 saw in his vision. Leader 1 flies in to get the lance And when he does, the body separates into different pieces of armor. As the Vamps escape, Leader One orders his soldiers to put on the armor. However, the Vamps are not escaping because of the upgraded Guardians. They're escaping because Zod is approaching. Leader One goes out with the lance, which Psykill quickly takes and breaks in two. In shock, Leader One doesn't move. Psykill offers him the chance to surrender and finally have peace, but before there's another fight, he's hit by a boulder. The Rock Lords are back and have surrounded the GoBots. They use their powers and open up a giant hole that sucks in Zod and a few GoBots. Copter takes this chance to usurp Psykill as the renegade leader hangs off of a cliff. However, he's quickly dispatched by Leader One. Leader One then takes the two pieces of the lance down into the hole to try to defeat Zod once and for all. He's joined by Turbo, Scooter, Spacey, and the renegade Screwhead. They find Zod, or he finds them, and the battle ensues. As Turbo is about to be eaten by the beast, Scooter and Leader One try to pull him out. Zod loses his balance, and they all fall further down the pit. But as they fall, the Guardians reassemble the lance and line it up in front of the red button that's on the beast's belly. It makes contact as Zod lands, and he's blown into pieces. Back on the surface, they're all celebrating their victory when they see their command center arrive. However, they're surprised when it starts firing on them, and a tractor beam abducts a number of bots, including Scooter. Leader One was hit by one of the blasts and has seemingly been killed by it. As the Guardians mourn him, the spirit Eno watches from above, as the vision of Leader One's one-time pilot tells him in reverse text that the mission is over, One. Come on home. So that is issue number 4. I'm still enjoying this series. There are a few things, like errors that I noticed, where in one panel you see Leader One putting on the armor, and in the next panel he's not wearing it. But he's got to be back because the whole hanging thread with not being able to tell Turbo what happened to AJ, that's just kind of left out there, and I wouldn't see him introducing that plot point and not coming back to it. Daryl, art aside, what did you think of the story here?
It's ridiculous. Art aside, it's a rambly story. It just kind of rambles on and on and on about, nonstop. I think the story wants to be action packed, and there's a lot of stuff going on. The part with Psykill trying to combine the humans,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it was probably meant to be like a joke, or like a humorous part. It just with the way that it looked. I mean, I can't discount the art in this because it's a comic book, but it just looked goofy. I mean, it looked dumb. The arms coming out, the arms seemingly were way too long. It looked not great. I mean, I listened to your review of number 3, and you guys both speculated that you'd see Rock Lords and the power armor in this issue, and you're right. So it appears as though Scioli's trying to fit every piece that you'd recognize from your childhood if you play with GoBots in here. And I remember the base. I remember that big AT-AT base. I remember the Zod base. I remember the power armor. I remember all of even the late model weird GoBots that he's using as the
Vamps.
The Vamps, yeah, those things. I remember those as well. I mean, he's fitting in a lot of things from old GoBot, the old GoBot toys. Now, with regards to like the previous issues and stuff, from what you guys had discussed, Leader One going kind of crazy, I don't particularly understand why. There's a huge time jump, which I kind of liked, but now he's nuts. Psykill and the rest of his lot are all they're all still hungry for power and whatnot, but Earth is kind of crushed. I'm having a very hard time following this book, and the art is not helping whatsoever.
Well, I still believe, we mentioned it in previous reviews, that this, I think, was pitched as maybe a 10 to 12 issue miniseries, because it does seem to be going from thing to thing super fast.
It's going very fast. 10 to 12 seems like a lot for this. When I heard you guys pitch or mention that in the previous recording, I was thinking to myself, if it was 12 issues, this would be crazy slow, like way too slow for a small GoBot. Like they wouldn't sell, like nobody would buy 12 issues of GoBots.
Even just like 8.
8, I could see 8. It's moving too fast. The story is bonkers, and the art is not helping things. I gotta say this, it's as a compliment. The art in the GoBots is better than Transformers versus G.I. Joe. Mm-hmm. I honestly think that the art is better here. I don't understand why he's continued to use the old style looking pages. There doesn't seem to be a point here.
That's just his style.
So, okay, that's his style. Okay, I guess that's his. Did he do that in his Barbarian book? I never read that.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm not a fan of it. I was interested to read it, but when you have a certain creator that takes on the duties of writing, art, coloring, and ink, right? Like everything, it seems to be a tough haul, right? It's more of a passion project for somebody, and if you're not into it, then you really are not into this particular creator. And I can see, and I'm just not a fan of Scioli's stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
All right, Charles, what do you think?
At some point, I was waiting for someone to say, "Get your damn hands off me, you damn dirty GoBot." I mean, this
it does have the whole plan of the ape looks for the humans.
Yeah. I still am enjoying the story, but this I know we discussed about how and you just mentioned how you thought this was pitched as a longer form story. I kind of disagreed with you last week, but this week I do agree that there's so many gaps here that it is a little bit hard to follow for me. I'm still enjoying the story, but it's like there's so much going on, and he jumps between Leader One's group, between Turbo and Scooter and the humans, and between Psykill and his group, and it's like on the same page you'll have scenes with 2 or 3 different groups, and there's no transition, no demarcation. It makes it a little bit hard to follow. Mm-hmm. I think the story is crazy, but I like that. I think it's fun for me. I mean, I'm enjoying that. I just would have liked a little bit more, and maybe there'll be something next issue. I don't know if they'll get to it in the last issue, but like for example, Zod. Where did Zod come from? He's just a giant GoBot that went crazy. Why? Did the humans make him as kind of a last line of defense to kill the GoBots who were rebelling? Like, where did he come from?
Yeah,
that's a question that's kind of never answered and never asked, I guess. I did like we get a little glimpse into the fate of AJ, so to see that she got old, fighting the GoBot revolution.
Yeah.
And then Scooter, we get more. Even Scooter's fate is even more disturbing here, about how he got lobotomized and everything. And the Rock Lords are fun. I liked we're the Rolling Stones who gather no moss. I mean, come on. Yeah, it's out there. It's definitely out there and crazy. I don't know. I like it. I don't know why. I'm just having fun with it.
If anything, it's a palate cleanser before the new series.
Yeah.
And for someone like Daryl, it's like lowering your expectations. So,
Yeah.
So I don't know what the last. I mean, the cover they have the cover to the last issue, and Leader One is there. So maybe somehow he's revived or something. I don't know.
He'll come by. He'll be revived. I mean, the whole Eno being the reverse of One. I mean, why didn't we see that when it first came up?
And isn't that in the last panel? Isn't that his old partner Nick Burns?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's his old pilot.
Sorry. So. One last thing. I think on that page with the power suits, I don't think that's an error. I don't think that's Leader One getting in that power suit, because his chest has that red. Leader One's chest is not like a red cockpit, so I think that's just a guy who kind of looks like Leader One.
I forgot. There's also the other jet that resembles him.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, so maybe next issue we'll get the payoff of those power suits recombining to be courageous in real life.
All right. Well, I mean, that is GoBots number 4. Next week we will be looking at Star Trek Transformers number 5.
Yep.
And then Diamond Distributing willing, we'll have the new series starting.
Crossing our fingers.
So I guess we can move on to media news.
All right, in media news this week, we got a couple things from Cyberverse. Rob Wiggins, character design artwork for Cyberverse. So take a look at that if you're interested. And also, Cyberverse has been nominated at the Irish Animation Awards. I wasn't familiar with this award show, but and I don't know how many animation studios are in Ireland, but this is pretty cool. So hopefully they win something. In movie news, the Bumblebee movie, which has been out and is removed from theaters now in North America and most of the rest of the world, I assume, has still not come out in Japan. So we've got some topics relating to the Japanese version of the Bumblebee movie, and they are: the voice cast has been revealed. So if you want to take a look at who's in the voice cast, click on the link in the show notes. They have a Let's Go and Meet Bumblebee campaign in Japan, and this is just a guy in a suit of Bumblebee who's traveling around Japan meeting people. And it's kind of fun, I guess, for kids. There's also a really cool Optimus Prime heads concept by Shane Baxley. So if you just wanted to see the head of the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime up close, you can take a look at that. There's a merchandise, official merchandise for Bumblebee movie, and this is some cool stuff that you can get for the Japanese release. So we've got some, looks like keychains, some cards, a little, looks like Lego, some kind of snap together thing. Or is it just a toy? Oh, it looks like it's just a toy. A skateboard and a Rubik's Cube. One that's a keychain. So just some random merchandise for Bumblebee movie.
Also a Masterpiece figure.
Is that in there too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
MPM07 Bumblebee. Surprisingly.
There you go. I did say there was a toy, but I didn't know that was a Masterpiece one. Okay, cool. In the trading card game world, Chinese New Year has released a Bumblebee promotional card. And this is a card all in Chinese, and it's got some pretty kick-ass art on it. So if you know anyone in China that has the ability to get you one of these, I would go and do it, because it's probably going to go up in value for anyone over here in North America. Take a look for this. It's got some pretty neat art on it. And in video game news, Transformers Earth Wars is still a thing, and they did a little interview talking about making Jetfire and Starscream in the game. So take a look at that. And that is media news.
I think it's really amazing that Earth Wars has gone through how many different lines of the toys now, and they're introducing CH designs, and it's still around.
It's pretty crazy.
All right, well, let's move on to transforming pop culture. And Daryl, I think this is all you.
This is me again.
This was literally you.
It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Okay, so if you were watching television this past week and happened to stumble upon the show The Goldbergs, you may have caught a really interesting product placement during the show. As you may or may not know, the show The Goldbergs takes place in 1980 something, and it during the show, the lead character held up a Ectotron, which, as we all know, was just introduced at New York Toy Fair. So that caught a lot of people by surprise. It obviously fits the MO of the show, 1980s Ghostbusters and Transformers. So, but it is a brand new toy that wouldn't have been around in the 80s. So social media kind of exploded and it got picked up by all the, media sites, and we're all talking about it here. So, did any of you actually watch the show?
No.
Yes, I did.
You did. And did you catch it?
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I watched it after your tweet, so.
Oh, okay.
It was but it was kind of hard to miss. I mean, he calls it out, Ecto Autobot. So I'm like, yeah,
that's true.
No one's going to miss that. But it was, I mean, it had nothing to do with the rest of the episode. The episode was actually about Highlander. So
that's true.
But it was cool to see your tweet getting some pickup on social media. Adam Goldberg and Sean Jambroni, who plays Adam Goldberg, both replied to you. So that was cool.
That's right. Yeah. So I did. I caught I was watching the show live and caught the appearance. Rewound, backed up my my DVR and recorded a little the segment on my phone and tweeted it out. And it did. It got liked and shared by a whole bunch of people. One including the kid that is playing the Adam Goldberg, and then the actual Adam Goldberg, the creator and showrunner of the show. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so no, it was neat. And then and then WTF at TFW, sorry, and then TFW 2005 actually linked to my tweet too. So I was kind of happy about that. But yeah, no, it was pretty cool. I was more excited about the actual show, or the figure appearing in the show, because now I kind of want it.
Well, yeah, I had as soon as it came up on Hasbro Pulse, I had pre-ordered it. So from everything I'm hearing,
obviously I know the answer to the question I'm about to ask because it's Friday, but everything I'm hearing about Hasbro Pulse is that their shipping is insanely fast right now. And
for some things, this isn't out yet, so it's all pre-order.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. But also shipping to the Canada is
ridiculous still.
Yeah, so you should go to EB Games and get it.
Yeah, I've been looking at that already. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. I don't think it's actually coming till the fall, I think.
Oh, that's a bummer. I assumed you had it already. That's how fast your shipping was.
I think only the Hero Megatron was shipping.
Oh, okay. So I did see that was what people were getting. All right. Well, anyway, this was pretty cool. I thought it was fun. Yeah. If you're not watching the Goldbergs, you probably should. The lead character, his room is just filled with all kinds of really cool stuff. So take a look.
I do have to say, I know the show is 1980 something, but the actor and like the real Adam Goldberg, like if he's so Adam Goldberg is about my age. Mm-hmm. So by the time he's in high school, it's the 90s. I mean, he's not graduating from high school in 1980 something.
Well, so. I mean, judging from the fact that they have a toy that was released in 2019 and they've played fast and loose with other time things, I think this is like in a time loop of some sort.
Yes. And if you've watched the show from day one, then you know that his sister, which he doesn't have in real life, has graduated from high school twice.
And Barry's senior year has lasted 2 years, I think.
Yeah. So it's a funny show. I mean, don't try and, plan out as to what year he's actually in when he's in the show, but it's just a fun show to watch and kind of go to get a nostalgic kick on the old stuff that's in the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted just to see I did ask the kid Sean. We're on first name basis now, just so you know. I asked him what his favorite Transformer is that he's messed with on the show, and he did answer that it was Devastator. The Devastator G1 Devastator toy was probably his favorite because it's got so many cool things that you can do with it. So.
Yeah, I was impressed. Because he came back at you with talking about the Constructicons, and then he said, "Yeah, he actually took the time to look up what the Constructicons were called." So
yeah,
good on you, Sean.
Yes,
yeah,
it was pretty awesome. That's it for transforming pop culture.
All right, and I guess we will finish up the show with convention news.
All right, we have a bunch of convention news. We will start off with the Calgary Expo, April 25th through 28th. They are having a Transformers experience with Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. You might have heard of them. If you want to meet just Peter Cullen, $175, I'm assuming Canadian.
I would assume
We'll get you 2 autographs, a picture, a 16 by 22 lithograph, and seating for the Q&A. $110, I'm guessing, is on top of that.
Yes.
We'll get you a custom voiceover, which I'm guessing they will record something for you.
Yes, and they said on the website, it does say it's limited to 50 words.
Wow.
So you can't just give them like a Shakespeare soliloquy. And
when I met Peter Cullen in 2004, he just recorded something for me for free.
Oh, how times have changed.
Yes. But the same prices are also there for Frank Welker, but they have a combo pack. You can get both. You'll get 2 autographs from each, a picture with each, the 16 by 22 lithograph, and seating, and you save a whole buck. It's $349.
That's a deal.
But if you want the recordings, you still got to shell out another $220 for both recordings, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you would. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they got Frank Welker on the convention circuit. All you got to do is throw money at him.
Mm-hmm. But at least it lets you, for someone like me who's not going to Calgary for this, it kind of puts in perspective what the costs are for these guys now, Right. Moving over, Emerald City Comic Con. I think Yoshi has put this in for us. Samantha Newark, who is the voice of Ariel and Elise Presser in G1, as well as Jim and Jerica on Jim and the Holograms, will be at Emerald City Comic Con. Looks like all weekend at the Plastic Empire booth. That's number 2335. Autographs are $30 and $10 for a photo. And she's been at TFCon a number of times. Mm-hmm. I believe she's going to be at TFCon LA. Well, no, I guess you can't be because it's the same weekend. But I know she's been at TFCon before. Yes.
So. And moving over to TFCon, we have a number of announcements. It looks like all of these are all weekend. No one is just a single day. Josh Perez, artist and colorist on IDW Comics, will be there. He is an awesome guy, and if you have never had a chance to get something from him, be sure to do that. I've got a couple of sketches from him over the years, and I have been happy with them all. Beast Machine's story editor, Bob Skur, is going to be there. I think it was the Charlotte one he was at, or maybe a Chicago one, but I know Charles and I met him at one, and he's pretty cool to meet. I believe he had scripts back then. I would assume same thing here. He's going to also be in a Q&A. David Kay, who is no stranger to TFCon, will be there, and it says he's going to be there all weekend.
Yes.
And he did say on Twitter that he would have more of the buttons that do yes. So if you want to get one of these Megatron buttons, there you go. And then voice actor Darren Norris, who was the voice of Knockout in Transformers Prime, will also be there all weekend. I believe this is his first one. Make him welcome, check him out, and nice to have some representation from Transformers Prime on the show. Although I guess David Kay also did a voice on the show. But that is convention news.
All right. Yeah. I can't remember which convention we met Bob Skier at, but I did get a script from him, and I'm
thinking it was that first Chicago one down in the basement.
No, maybe.
I never met him, so.
I also took the opportunity to apologize to him for my behavior in the late 90s towards Beast Machine, on my online behavior.
Yeah, well, you weren't alone. I was one of the few that actually liked Beast Wars. Or Beast Machines.
All right. So I guess that'll do it for this week's episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Daryl comes back from vacation. He's rare. He's like, I need a podcast now.
It's been 3 weeks. I am ready to talk. Transformers.